Welcome to Extreme Whitetails Canada podcast. We are the first and only whitetail specific podcast in Canada. We are two regular guys who live and breathe whitetails 12 months a year and target giant whitetails on the fringe of where they exist. Meaning our whitetails are bigger, stronger, and smarter than any other whitetail in North America. They gotta be this way to survive the elements and their predators. We've been chasing whitetails for 40-ish years, and with this podcast, we'll be talking about deer, their habitat, their current status and numbers, health and huntability across Canada and into the US. While doing so, we'll be teaming up with other like-minded hunters and whitetail fanatics for their stories and experiences while staying in tune with this amazing animal. In the end, we hope to help others, our youth, and most important, the whitetail deer. Now enjoy episode number 1 while we look into Manitoba's secret slammer whitetails. All right, guys, so welcome to podcast number 1 for Extreme Whitetails, the Manitoba's Secret Slammer Whitetails edition. So with us tonight, my partner, Jason Stenlin.
Yeah.
And
I prefer 001. Podcast 001.
001?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's better.
Yeah.
Rather than 1.
Number 1? 001.
Well, because we intend to, keep it going. So
yeah, that's true. There's going to be lots. There's going to be lots.
00. I hope so.
Yeah. And then we've got JJ Lyman chiming in here. James Lyman from down south. He's we'll kind of save his big intro for a little bit, but JJ, you can go ahead and say hi.
What's happening? Thanks for having me, and I'm excited to be part of this.
Yeah, buddy. Happy to have you. So a little bit about myself and Stenner here. This is kind of our deal. We started Extreme Whitetails YouTube show here this year, and I guess kind of late last year. And we're just a couple of regular guys who are pretty hardcore chasing big whitetails. We always have since we were kids, Jake?
Yeah, I was thinking about this, in preparation for the podcast, obviously. And boy, it's been a long haul. 35, 36, 37 years. We crossed paths when we were young, when we played hockey.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't talk to me because I was so much better than you. But
you mean the time we were on the breakaway and you didn't pass me the puck?
Well, I knew I had the best. I had the best chance. You see, JJ, even back then he wanted it all for himself. Eh?
Yeah. He's got to get off the bench to get the puck passed to him, but he doesn't know that
yet. Yeah, so it's definitely been a long run. And then, of course, we crossed paths a few years later when I was working at Redden's Resort and started down the hunting path. So
yeah, hanging out, and we had similar interests on the weekends. For me, it's probably been, I'll be 53 this year, so it's been 40 years since I was tagging along with my dad and Lauren, going down the lake and doing deer drives and all that stuff, and that's how it started for me.
Yeah,
deer drives on Lake of the Woods, and with Lauren and my dad and whoever else we could gather up for the weekend, or just my dad and I, we would go down Witch Bay Road or some of those roads and just do stalking and maybe a bit of sitting and stuff. But it's very, very early. I couldn't be left at home. I had the bug right from the get-go.
Yeah, I remember you started probably a little bit ahead of me, but I remember 1990, the Cabela's magazine with the whitetail on the front. I don't know if
catalog.
And I ordered the Gore-Tex glove with the finger, the trigger finger, and I ordered my first buck knife. And that year, starting at Redden's and then listening to Lauren talk about hunting, and then seeing you and your dad, and it just, I don't know, just lit a little fire inside. That's just never. It's always been exciting for me, and I just can't shake it, and I don't want to shake it. I'm going to keep going.
No, I remember sitting in class, instead of studying, I'd be drawing out the deer drives that we used to have to do on the weekends, because I didn't care about school a ton, and that's all I could think about even back then. So
that's why JJ took him a little longer to finish.
That's okay. I shot a few big deer in those days, so
No, you
Yeah,
did. Yeah,
I
that
was
was
having
awesome
more
to be.
fun
It
doing that.
was
But
awesome to be part of it.
yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
Jake and I have been at it a long time together. We had a little friend group, and once we kind of started getting our driver's licenses, we even boats, I guess. Hey, Jake, you had a boat before you were able to
Yeah, no,
drive a
I was gonna
vehicle.
say like I had a sled and a boat before I had a vehicle, but um, the way we started out was deer drives, right? We had success as kids, and pushing those deer off those points, and narrow chunks of land. That was so exciting for me. Just got the bug for sure, and we had
Yeah.
success with it,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Like it
yeah.
worked. It worked at the time.
Well, in the
We
deer
weren't
numbers, right?
sitting. There was no rattling.
No,
Yeah,
not much finesse.
yeah.
Not much finesse.
No,
Sorry, go ahead, buddy.
no, I was just gonna say I missed a few deer before I ever actually got one. Because on the deer drives, of course, JJ, I don't know if you guys have hunted like that, but we did.
Oh
The
yeah.
deer come running, and we're young guys, and I had this great big 7 millimeter Magnum that I could barely shoot, and I think to this day I still have hearing loss in my left ear from it. It was an old Parker Hale with a rattly bolt, and yeah, the deer would just come running off those drives, and we didn't know what we were doing. They'd almost run right over you sometimes, but it was fun, man. It was a good memory.
And Jason's dad, Murray, his final words to his boys, Jason or Jeff, before when he'd put them on stand would be, "Whatever you do, don't miss."
And
Like
then when you
saying
Just
that.
get
miss,
into
he's
your
like,
head,
"I
eh?
told you not to miss, man. I told you not to miss."
and he,
Yeah,
and he'd admit it now, but at the time he was relieved. Like he was happy that we missed because he didn't have to pick up or clean or carry out a
yeah.
deer, and two, it was just fun for him, right? So
Yeah,
so yeah,
Well, that's
good
like it's
times.
ruthless in the south
Yeah.
at our deer camp with muzzleloader. You miss, it's like you're gonna hear about it for the rest of the week, not just that day. They're just and you better leave
Yeah.
your feelings at the door because like there's no rules, no holding back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
yeah.
definitely it mans you up a bit. You get some thicker skin from those deer camps for sure.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, good times.
Yeah, so for us, we
Yeah.
went from having success with our buddies doing deer drives at a time when our whitetail population was really, really doing well, to the point where we had people coming to the Kenora Lake of the Woods area from all over North America. Hey, Jake, remember we were young and we started seeing
Mhm.
these license plates showing up. We'd be deer hunting, JJ, back in some of these zones, road access, and we'd see these. I remember, I think the first plate was Colorado, and then the Vermonters started showing up, and Larry, Lanny Benoit, those guys, even Hal Blood. These are legends from the U.S., Vermont and Maine. They were in our zone because, like we always talk about on YouTube, we're on the fringe, and for those whitetails to survive in our area, they got to be big, and those guys love chasing big deer. So yeah, we went from
And,
that,
and
Jake, the deer drives to then I remember just becoming kind of frustrated. I wanted to learn more, and our buddies just loved the camaraderie, which I did too. But just our deer numbers were so good, and I wanted to pursue big bucks. We started kind of getting into tree stands and sitting and stuff, right?
yeah, and eh, back home there in that area, there's hydro lines, and I remember we would see guys sitting on those hydro lines in what we call these little huts, which obviously were ground blinds. I didn't even know what they were at the time. And they would sit there for hours and hours, for days and days on end. And it was just so foreign to us at the time because we were driving around looking at the maps for chunks of bush to push and stand guys up and be able to push deer out of the bush, basically, is the way we got started. And then, like Dennis said, he definitely was the one that initiated sort of, maybe we could have a little different approach to this. And then that started the relationship with big bush bucks and sitting and waiting and climbing in trees and things like that. It sort of changed our approach. We'd still go
Yep.
back from time to time and do drives with our friends because it's just those friendships, they're the funnest funnest things of your young life. And I still have the best memories of my life are still some of those times. But once you kind of evolve, you want to sit and plan your hunts a little better, and maybe have some patience and wait for deer to cross bottlenecks and neck down areas. It kind of changed the game a little bit for you and I, anyway.
Yeah. Our buddies, they almost got annoyed with us because we'd try to do deer drives with them for a day, and then you and I would peel off and do our own thing for like a week, camping down the lake and trying to target big deer, and hanging out of stands and scouting. And that's before the days of trail cameras, where all of our scouting was, ground scrapes, rubs. If we saw a rub that, was a big rub, but that there were scratches on stuff further back, we were like, okay, there's a big deer. And that's kind of how we learned, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You definitely had more nerve than I did, though, in terms of going into the backcountry and exploring, because I was always a little more apprehensive and scared and getting lost or something happening, and just
Yeah.
you get into the woods and your mind would start going, and you were so good at it. And I always just envied you, because I didn't have that sort of same, I guess, mental strength or
JJ,
experience. Yeah.
Stenner, any deer drive, Stenner always took the lake. He'd always walk the edge of the lake.
Well, the lake's nice to look at. I don't blame him. You might catch a glimpse of a girl in a bikini or something too. Eh?
No, it was definitely.
Yeah.
I would take the easiest path if I could get away with it.
Well, and you know what? I learned that from being with just my dad and Lauren, and they would drop me off on a point. They go to the stand, and I'd have to walk it myself at like 12 years old. And I remember walking out to the shoreline crying a couple times because I was lost. There was iron ore. There was iron ore in some of those areas, right, Jake? And your compass, that's back in the compass days, your compass would just spin. So eventually you get lost enough and get scared enough that you kind of develop a thicker skin.
Then it would get into my head. Everywhere I went had iron ore. So I wouldn't believe my compass.
Well, I had to laugh walking with Chevy. First of all, you can't keep up. Second of all, he's going in different ways that I'm like, all right, I'm starting to get lost, and I'm actually pretty good. But you resort to things like the sun. You have to, because it's like you go back to the basics, or else you get lost.
Yeah, it was funny. We were out a couple weekends ago, and I staring at the ground, looking for tracks and sort of set up spots and deer activity and whatnot. And I got completely turned around. And now we got our phones and all the GPS apps and everything. And then I just didn't believe what I was looking at, because I couldn't believe I was going exactly 180 degrees the opposite way. Right? Do you remember this, Dennis?
I do. Yeah.
And, yeah. He's like, no, Jake, turn around. So still to this day, it happens. So,
well,
anyway,
it happens to me too.
Yeah.
It's all good. Anyway, yeah, that's us. That's kind of where we came from. That's where our roots are when it comes to whitetails. And Jason and I, we are fortunate to have grown up where we did. And we learned old school with our mentors. And anyway, it was a ton of fun, and slowly developed, kind of into the just targeting bigger deer and more finesse. And I guess also, Jake, in 97, that's when I bought my first bow. And that also for me really changed the game, because I had to get closer. And, all of our hunts where I was just carrying my bow for years, probably 15 years, I just carried a bow, and I didn't even carry a rifle during rifle season. And it was interesting I had a lot of big deer that I got close to, but couldn't pull the trigger on just because I didn't have the shot. So I remember you getting frustrated with me because we would go on those hunts, you would shoot a deer and I never would.
No, yeah. I think we went through a phase there where in the early 2000s where we were doing, I called them backcountry hunts, where we would stay out stay out in the bush and on the lake. And it was all on me, JJ. I had to.
There's nothing wrong with that. I get it.
So I had to kill all the deer, and he had to No, but he with the bow, definitely more intimate and
Just was what it was.
more skill is involved. And to
It's a
be honest
different
with you,
world.
it's a totally different world.
Yeah.
I was always envious. I just never picked it up myself. I
Yeah.
haven't yet, but maybe. Yeah.
So I
Still
don't
like
know,
the
Jake,
rifles.
do we, well, and I guess, you know what, let's touch on where we are today. So before we pull JJ into the mix here. So yeah, so I'm still living in Kenora. Our whitetail herd isn't what it used to be around here. There's still we have phenomenal genetics, but we've had a couple of bad winters that knocked them right back, and a tough wolf population as well. We'll get into that in future podcasts, but for now, I've been dipping into Manitoba over the last few years, and that's been a ton of fun. Plus, Jake, how long have you been out in Alberta?
I've been in Alberta since 2006, so 20 years. Actually,
Yeah.
20 years this month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that has been a great, a great thing for you, for your life, but also for our whitetail passion, because there's probably no better place in the world than Alberta to chase big whitetails.
I don't know. I think JJ might have something to say about that.
Yeah.
After seeing that deer he got this year, my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
No,
impressive.
it was amazing. But
It's
yeah. So yeah,
I feel
that's kind of where.
fortunate. I
What's
feel
that?
fortunate, girl. I feel fortunate growing up, like you said, where we did, and then maintaining our friendship with me being out in Alberta here. We're hunting 4 provinces together, right? Because we're hunting waterfowl in Saskatchewan, whitetails in Manitoba. We're still hunting everything in Ontario, and we're hunting whitetails out here. And we had managed to get a mule deer a few years ago out here, my first mule deer. So
Yeah.
I feel fortunate to have this. It was sad to leave and it was sad to move away from home, but now it's made things better. In terms of a lot of different things, but in terms of hunting, we've been able to evolve, and now we have a bigger, uh, uh, more hunting access. Really, when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
So
It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. Having, you being in Alberta and spreading your wings out there and continuing to learn what you're learning. Like you had way more quality deer on camera last year than I did, and I think sky's the limit out there, really. I mean, and YouTube and the
we'll
guys
see.
that are on video have proven it, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's get talking about that big claws.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's JJ, welcome to the show here, buddy.
Well, thanks, boys. It's an honor to be here. Like, I can't even begin to start with a bunch of stuff. Like, so I'm from Ontario, obviously, way down in Kingsville, which is like the most southern town in Ontario. So when you're looking at the Ontario map, it's like way down on the thumb, like down here on the shores of Lake Erie. So I'm actually across from Ohio. We have a lot of whitetail, but the pressure down here on them is significantly different. So yeah, anyway, make a long story short, Dennis and I have known each other for a while, and
2018, I think, JJ.
was it? I was going to say it's about that. That's
Marine
probably
seminar
it.
there.
Yeah, you're right. And so he invited me to. He kept saying to me, "You got to come up here. You got to come up here." And life moves on, and we did a couple of things up in Kenora, and I got to love that area. And I'm like, man, like Kenora is just beautiful from the hunting and fishing and everything else. But so yeah,
we had some experiences in Kenora, JJ.
We did. Some for the camera, some not. Yeah. Anyway,
that's awesome.
So Dennis and I work together. So that's the preamble to that. So anyway, our bosses are just shaking their head. Probably at least two misfits. So I was with Dennis actually when we were in Muskoka, and he says to me, "Hey, come here for a minute. I need you to help me sign something for this property." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So I put down my beer. Big surprise, I was drinking a beer at the time. And off we went to the lobby, and we started looking at this fax, and hey Dennis, we signed the property away, and I witnessed it. And
Jake, you didn't know that,
back.
but when I bought the property, I bought
that?
it from the Muskokas, and JJ was my witness.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah, nice.
And I'm like, you sure you want to do this? Like, and my first question to Dennis in the lobby of the hotel is, does Beth know about this? Like, everything's cool, right? And he's like, oh yeah. So that was kind of like the start of my knowledge of what's going on. And then a year or two later, he kept inviting me up, and next thing you know, I'm like, you know what? My wife keeps bugging me, like, you should do it. And I'm like, it's one of those things, right? I love listening to just you guys talk, and I can so relate to everything you're saying, from the old guys in the camp barking at the young guys to doing the deer drives to heaven forbid you miss a deer. Like, nothing changes no matter where you're at. And it's the most valuable time with your friends and whatnot that you'll always remember. So it never gets old. And when I got the chance to go up there, I was like, I got to take the jump at this adventure. Like, if you don't, you only live once, man. And so, I took the jump, and it was the start of something really cool that I can get to in a minute. But I can't thank Dennis enough for inviting me.
Yeah, buddy. No, it was, we have similar interests, similar passions, and we've been friends for a long time. So it was awesome that you were able to come up, and no matter what happened, at the end of the day, it's like we all know with a hunting cabin, doesn't matter really what you get. It's all about, hey Jake, what, like old Brucey says, what does he say there?
I said, yeah, get the deer, get the bonus. That's just the bonus.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true.
If we get something, it's a bonus, he says.
If you could picture Buckshot Roberts from Young Guns, and of course us being a bunch of rednecks from Kenora, watched that movie probably 800 times when we were young, and Young Guns, and Buckshot Roberts was the guy with the big thick mustache. And he's the guy that ended up killing Charlie Sheen there in the movie, and that's what Dennis's uncle looked like.
Just big old duster.
Just the greatest, man. He was so fun. We looked so forward to seeing him every year, and as kids, he was just a card. He came up
to Kenora for I think 30 years to hunt deer and moose with my dad and I.
Yeah,
and every year was the same. He'd say, "I just come up here to see you guys, but if we get something, it's a bonus."
Just come to see you guys, just a bonus. Get a deer, just a bonus. Yeah, so he's
Colchester, JJ? You met him. You dropped hats off there for me.
I love it. You could talk all night about the dynamics of a deer camp. There's so many guys that just go just to get away. They don't even care if you get a deer. They don't care if they get a deer. They just want to get away and have beers and hang out. You know what I mean? Like, so I just laugh at all that because I totally get it.
Yeah.
It's and that's what's common in the hunting community, isn't it? Hey, like no matter what hunting group you talk to, I guarantee it, they're all going to speak, maybe not exactly the same, but it's going to be in the same sort of context that it's the best memories of your life. It's the bonding with your dad, with your brothers, with your friends, it's your grandpa. One of the things that Dennis, that was a close bond with you and I, was back in the early 90s when we first started this journey together. Both of our granddads died very close together. Mine was June 1991. My dad's dad.
Mine was April 12th, 91.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that was a bond that we both we never met our granddads together. Like, I never met yours and you never met mine, but it was just a bond that you and I shared, because it's just that hunting community, that's something you just, some of my funnest memories were with my grandfather hunting, and him giving me shit because I screwed up, and it was just so fun.
Teaching young men to be men, right?
Yeah, exactly. He was a World War II vet. My grandpa, I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but my grandpa was a World War II vet, and he was, kind of a no nonsense type man. And one time I shot my gun off by accident, and he was gonna put me in solitary confinement. He said that's what he called it. For 10 days, you're going into solitary confinement. Anyway, never forget that. So the hunting community, it's always the same thing. It's the funnest, best memories of our lives, and now we get to experience with our kids, right?
And we can't accept that people say that it's dying in this world, because we got to, guys like us got to keep pushing and keep going, right? Keep getting young people into it. And
100%.
yeah, you know,
Well, and it's
it's,
changed, right? Look at this right now. The thought of doing a podcast. Can you imagine telling your grandpa or your grandpa
Yeah.
or my grandpa that you'd be doing a podcast on hunting? And they'd be like, what the hell are you even talking about? Right?
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's evolving. And you talked about GPS earlier and all those things that they never had. Like they didn't have
Right.
that stuff.
No.
Hell, they were lucky
No.
if they had a compass.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it was a red wool sweater, eh? And his
Yeah.
303 on his shoulder with no scope,
Yeah.
you know, and he had his socks pulled up over his pants.
It's not a fashion show, buddy.
It wasn't a fashion show, you know. Yeah, you just look back on it. It's just funny.
yeah.
So-
Well, and no blaze orange back in those days. Guys would just wear whatever, right?
Yeah.
A red plaid or
Yeah, red plaid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So JJ, yeah.
So yeah, sorry, we went on a tangent there, but that's
Yeah,
cool.
it's all
It's
good.
funny. I got to tell you a quick preamble before I go, or before I start talking here. So I actually started hunting because of my grandpa, because my grandpa
Yeah,
passed
we
away
want
when
that
I was
history.
40. Yeah, when I was 40 years old, and
You started when
said,
you were
well,
40?
we're gonna get rid of his guns, and I'm like hell you are. So I went and got my pal and whatnot. And I didn't start hunting till I was 40. I always wanted to do it, so that was 6 years ago. And
oh wow.
I never actually hunted until I was 40.
So what did
And,
you get for guns, JJ?
So well, he passed away, and I got his
Only
his
tell
old,
us about the legal ones.
his old no, he had this old Stevens model 520, I think it is, and it's like an old beast, eh? So I took this gun, you'd rack it, and it would barely even function. So I took it all apart. You go on YouTube like anybody else can do right now, clean it all up, and then I rack it, and it's like boom, you know what I mean? Completely different. So I went out with my buddies, and they're all looking at me like, who's this hillbilly with his new pal and his small game they got like their $2,000 Berettas and Benellis, and I got this old humpback Stevens from freaking God knows when. And I shot one goose and I shot one duck that day. And that was it. I was
That's
like
pretty
so
good, though.
happy. I was on cloud 9, right? And then I went home. I didn't say nothing. One of those, and I'm just like, mother, my shoulder's killing me. Because that thing kicked like a bitch. So I put that gun away, and I really haven't shot it much since. But yeah, so that's what started me. And I always wanted to hunt with my ancestors and stuff. I never got that privilege. So
Yeah.
then I got kind of like back in with a lot of my friends that were all had a lot in common with me, and I started hunting with them. And next thing you know, you join these hunt groups, and off you go. So I've been hunting whitetail down here in this neck of the woods. So the pressure is completely different. You at any time you can see houses in each direction. You can't get lost if you tried. Like so
Lots of landmarks.
Yeah,
completely
JJ,
different.
down there, sorry to interrupt, but down there, I'm guessing it's got to be mostly private land.
It's all private land. That's all you
Yeah.
have. There's no other option. Like you don't
Sure.
have a single stitch of crown land anywhere.
Okay.
So,
Right.
yeah, no, you're bang on. You're bang on. So it's funny, like being with some extra training and whatnot through work and everything. I really never thought much about getting lost. And then Dennis puts us in this area where all the trees look the exact same. And he puts me in this tree stand. And I've hunted tree stands, but not like this little unicycle, tiny little seat like this big. And it turned out to be the best thing at the end of the day. But well, like there's so many things we can talk about tonight, but it was a new spot, a new stand to me, a new environment, the new province, a new gun that I basically borrowed from my cousin because I didn't even have a rifle to do this hunt. And it tests you, right? And you just stay positive and stay focused, and you bear the elements, and you're sitting on this stand swaying from side to side, and it's like, oh my God, like I'm choosing to do this right now, like the uncomfortableness.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, you love every minute of it, right? Guys like us just can't get enough of it. If you told me to go tomorrow, I'd be first guy up and out the door again, right? So yeah, and then you skip over like all the other elements, like work, family, like trying to get the time to get out there is a chore. So you got to book the time off. You got to like get your flights squared away. You got to pack the best gear that you can, and you're limited by your plane, right? So you do what you can. And Chevy, you deal with that a lot more than I do, and I'm sure you do too. But Stenner, but the thing is, like, I don't really deal with that much. We usually just jump in our truck and then off we go. And
I could have hooked you up, JJ, with whatever you didn't have.
yeah, I know, but
you guys stopped in Winnipeg and spent about $3,000 on food.
So I had to laugh. My buddy's like, we need this and we need that, and I'm looking at him like, you're breaking the bank, man. You're killing me here. But the best thing I did buy was those better boots.
Yeah, those are nice boots.
It's
so
funny.
JJ,
when I would come to hunt with Dennis, when I'd fly back from Alberta, of course, it's you got a big bunch of gear and so hockey bags and whatever you can get on the plane, and you pay the extra. And it's gotten to the point now, I just bring an overnight bag. He's got everything.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. I don't blame you at all.
I got my toothbrush. Dennis, you got me hooked up.
Yeah, I've got like four sets. Four sets of hunting gear.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, so
awesome.
the boots are a little too big for me, but
we bought seat cushions. We didn't know we had, right? And then we left, and it was like a goddamn yard sale. I'm looking at them like, Chevy, I'm sorry, dude, but this is all like, give this to the next guy's coming. Like, I left a pair of boots there. I left like a couple of cushions to sit on, all this stuff.
That's cabin stuff now, buddy.
Yeah, and that's what I want. I was like, it's part of building that camp, right? Like, yeah. You want to do that. You want to be honored to like, hey, fuck, I bought that like a long time ago. You know what I mean? You almost forget about it, but yeah. So I was just honored to get there. And Dennis had been sending me. I was down on Peely Island, and I was doing some night fishing. And in the middle of night fishing, in the middle of doing this, I look at my phone, and he's sending me these videos of these massive deer. And I look at my buddy, and I'm like, look at the size of these bucks. Like, I would just be amazed just to see one of these things in the bush. And anywho, make a long story short, the chance comes up, and I'm in Peely Island on a Wednesday, and I'm up in Manitoba like a few days later and heading into the bush with this clown. So here we go. So yeah, it was fun. It is so much excitement.
Yeah. No, it was, you guys showed up. Ev and I already, that was Everett's week to hunt as well. And, so I had him there, and I think I told you I'll get you guys set up, but I'm going to hunt with him. And kind of took you into his own, put you in a direction, and man, the rest was you.
Yeah, like we had it set up like you were going to hunt with Ev, and what was great, like here's this like Mexican standoff back to this, right? Like, tell me where to go, tell me what to do. Like, and I loved it. Dennis was so awesome. He's like, we're going to stay together. You two stay together. So if you get a deer, we're going to keep hunting. And I'm like, perfect. Like, it's the ground rules that need to be said. And, and then I said to Dennis, is there any deer you don't want me to shoot? And he's like, nobody. If you see something, you take it. And I was like, okay, well, that relieves that stress. These are all the things you're thinking of on the plane and the night before as you're landing and everything else. And, so I had a couple of long days, like where not much was happening. But the preamble is the best. So on the November the 11th, which was the day that Ev got his deer, I didn't see a thing all day. It was pretty quiet where I was. And then 3:00 in the afternoon, I'll never forget it. Seeing this rack come out of the marsh, and it turns and it goes like this and just takes off. And I'm thinking in my head, is that a moose or is that a deer? And I go back to camp and I say this, and these guys are laughing at me, and I'm like the brunt of the jokes, right? And I'm like, I'm telling you, man, this thing was massive. Like, I couldn't see it through the trees. I didn't even grab my rifle. I had no time. It was like this happened in a split second, and it was over before it even started. And so, make a long story short, the following day comes along, and I go in real early at 7 a.m. I was in my spot. And when I walked in that morning, I had bumped 3 to 4 does. And it's at that time where the daylight is like it's pitch black, but you can still see things enough as your eyes adjust. And I remember seeing the white rumps as they hopped away. So you knew there's no doubt. You hear it and you look up as you're walking in, and I'm like, oh, I just bumped 3 deer. And then I walk in 100 yards and I bump them again. And I walk 300 yards, bump them again. And these deer didn't leave. Every time I walked in, they just went a little bit further. So I knew they didn't know what I was. And I scurried up into my stand as quick as I could. And I was like, this is awesome because there's deer all around me already. And we haven't even started. So
was it quiet that day, JJ?
Oh my God. It was just a beautiful day.
Like no wind, eh?
The wind was bumping. It was windy, but that was it. The wind was bumping. But you could still hear things, you could see things, and then the sun came out, and it was just one of those days, and it's not because of what happened, it's just in general. So I see the first buck at 8:20, then it comes across to my left, and he's beautiful, but I was so certain that there was going to be something more. So I let this like 6, maybe 8 go by. He was like a 6. And I just looked right at him and I'm like, man, that's a beautiful deer. And he stops right in the lane. And I'm like, oh, that's tempting, but I'm going to let that go. So then by 9:30, yeah, by 9:30, my high goes to an ultimate low. So, and I'll tell you what happens next. So again, I'm facing the same direction. So that big buck had already gone by on my east side, and I hear a little ruckus, and I turn, and as I turn, I see this monster hobble by, and he comes around. Well, he wins me, and he's gone. So, and I get my rifle up, and I fumble up trying to get a shot, and I never had a shot. Like, he did not stop. He didn't do anything. I tried to stop him 3 times. Given the old barp, everything I could. And he had this hobble to him on his front quarter as he was hobbling with his nose down, and he was not stopping. Like, he didn't want anything to do with me. He was gone.
How big was he, JJ?
What's that?
How big?
Oh, he was big. He was a shooter. There's no doubt. Like, so I'm not, it's like one of those things. You go from this ultimate high from seeing that other one, and I'm gonna wait to this low because I just missed my chance. I was like, that was a better deer. I had the chance. I'm not just going to randomly throw a round at it through trees as he's running by because it's so thick where I was. So then what do? You're going to sit here and pout? You know what I mean? So you make some changes and your kit. And I said, I'm going to keep my rifle right on my lap because this is going to go down quick if this happens. So I had it hanging in the tree directly in front of me, and I'd switched and had it on my lap now. And then I tried some different things that do or don't work, and we can get into a whole discussion about rattling and about all that other stuff. But I rattled and I grunted, and obviously given half an hour intervals in between. Nothing seemed to work, but I could hear deer all around me. I just couldn't see them. So I knew there was stuff around me, but it was hard in the wind to figure out where exactly they were. And then you'd catch the glimpse of a doe. And I remember thinking to myself, well, where the hell are the antlers? Like, these doe are massive compared to my deer back home. And nonetheless, Dennis had told me, like, when I got there, be ready midday. And that defies a lot of logic from where I'm used to hunting. Usually it's in the morning or at night is when you get most of your deer. We don't get a lot of movement in the daytime down this way. Not to say it doesn't happen, just I don't know. But regardless, middle of the day, just like he said, I see this. I start with the estrus call. That's what started everything. I said, I got one more tool in the toolbox, and just for giggles, let's let her go. Well, it ignited a party that I've never seen before in my life. The first estrus call, these 2 does shot out from behind me like a bullet, and I can't make this up. I'll never forget it. It actually like caught me off guard. I almost kind of was startled by it, and I'm like, where the hell did they come from? Like, I didn't have a clue they were that close to me at all. So they shoot out and they head over into like this marshy area, and that marshy area was where I saw that moose the day before.
Yeah.
They go in there, and the more I bleep with this estrus call, the more fired up they get. And
JJ, that's a can, eh?
Yeah, it is. It's just a cheap can from Cabela's. It's nothing fancy. It's just a little green one.
Stenner
And
killed a big one using the same damn thing.
no
Yeah.
kidding, eh?
Yeah.
And I swear it's like they were jealous that deer was there. Like, you're near my man kind of thing. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Like, these are things
They work, man.
you can't ask the deer what they're thinking. But that's what I think, but I'll never know. So then these two does shoot out of the marsh again, and they get into the thicker stuff, and I see claws. We now know as claws with them, and there's no doubt to me that's like the biggest deer I've ever seen in my life. The deer I had seen earlier, I passed on, not even close to this. The deer that was behind me, not even close to this. This was a no-brainer, no doubter. This is a monster deer. And I keep leaping, and they go out of sight, and they're in the thicker trees, and they loop completely around. So from my front left, they loop all the way around me, and they come right out where that other buck was. And I knew I had to stop them before they got there because of the way the wind was blowing. So I gave out the biggest blah, and he stopped in his tracks, and I just stood up, and I leaned over backwards, and I leaned right over and just quickly made my shot. Like, and I knew right away the way the trees were, I had a tiny little window or a lane, and I hit my round right through there, and there was zero doubt in my shot. It was one of those things. I've shot a handful of deer. I'm no expert by any means, but there
You got
was
your sights on them, you knew, JJ?
there was no doubt. Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt at all. Like, it was boom, done. And it all happened within probably about a second and a half. Like,
Nice.
from where is he? Oh, there he is, up, boom. And I had practiced earlier in the morning just with tree stumps, like getting up on target. Like, you got to remember, this isn't my rifle at the time. Like, I had borrowed it to do this hunt. It's now mine. I bought it off my cousin, but I laughed.
What was it? What's the rifle?
Seiko 270.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful gun, like extremely accurate. Obviously,
You
like,
couldn't let it go after killing that deer, JJ?
not a chance. I was like, "Dude, my wife's going to kill me, and this is going to break the bank, but I can't give this thing back."
He probably charged you extra too because he knew he had you.
Yeah, a little sentimental value there. Yeah.
But it's one of those things. And then, so now you make that shot. 82 yards is where it was, and then I instantly knew, I was pretty confident in it being lethal. And I didn't see him go down. I didn't hear him go down. He took off, and I'm like, okay. As excited as I am, I reloaded, got right back up. He's gone. The two does are gone. It's all quiet. And I'm like, all right. I immediately text my buddy who was with me, Jonathan Wood, and they said, hey, I just shot. It's a shooter. And he's like, come get me. And I'm like, yeah, because I don't want to get lost looking for this thing by myself. And so
what do you mean get lost? You weren't that far back.
Well, yeah, for you. For the southern boy, it was a little bit farther than I thought. So we go and we get I go pick him up, and make a long story short, we get back in there, and this is where it was, blah, 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 blood all over. We found that right away, and the thing didn't go 50 yards. Now, here's the thing that you talk about stories and whatnot. I'll always remember this for the rest of my life. We walk up on this thing, and we collapse. Like, I literally fell to my knees, and so did John, and we collapsed next to each other. And the first thing he said, exact words were, "Oh my God, JJ, you just shot the biggest goddamn deer in Manitoba." And I looked at him, and I'm like, it's big, but like, I don't even know. Like, I've never seen a deer this big before in my life. Like, and this 30 seconds of like two little kids happier than the best gift they got at Christmas.
That's awesome.
Turns to how the hell are we going to get this thing out of here? And we looked at each other, and we're like, we got to get this thing out of here. And we looked at our watches, and the time of the shot was 11:40. And by the time we found, like, I drove to get him and came back and actually got to the deer. And now we're after one, and we're looking at the sun, and we're like, we have two options. Option one, we do it all here. Option two, we drag it out. And we're like, I like option two better. And so we stupid enough, we were so excited and jacked. We dragged this thing probably about 30 yards, 40 yards, and we stopped and we looked at each other and we said, why are we doing this? Like, why don't so we took our pictures right off the hop before we did that.
Yeah.
Then we dragged and tagged them, and then we started dragging them, and we stopped and we said, we need to field dress this guy. Like, why are we carrying all this weight for nothing? So we field dressed him and got him back.
Dragging you guys were dragging him and he still had his
we were so excited. We were on cloud nine, man. Like, we were so jacked. And back home, like down here, we do that all the time. Like, let's get them, whatever. Let's take care of, get them back to the barn, and then we clean it. We field dress them at the barn. But we got quad runners, we got trucks, we got tools. So we were just so excited. We were still in Southern boy mode, and we just grab this thing and start walking it over trees, and like every 4 feet, an antler hooks or his hoof hooks, and you do one of these like jerks. You look at each other.
Sure.
Regrip and go again, like the amount of work. And so we get it back to the
right after you tagged it though, right, JJ? It was obviously tagged before you moved it.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that too, because the damn tag came off 3 times because it kept falling off. And I'm like, oh my God, put more tape on it, and it just falls off, and you pick it up. And anyway, we get it to the stand, and then I said, I'm going to go get the sled. Like, this is brutal. Like, so we got your sled, and then we towed her out, and then what a chore that was. It helped. And we got her back, and then basically the best part of this whole story, or worst part, if you're an enterprise rent-a-car guy, is all we had was our rental car. And we get to the road, and I was smart enough. I grabbed tarps, and I said, lay the tarps out, get this, keep it in the sled and put it right in the back. So we had this little Mazda hatchback, and the whole head is hanging out the back.
I love the photos of that
massive thing. The hood, the 2 hind legs come over between the seats, come over my right shoulder, and I'm driving with these 2 legs like in front of me. And I'm like, let's get the hell out of here. So we get back to camp. I'm like, we are the biggest hillbillies in the world. And so at this point, we know it's a massive deer. We know that it's a success, and we're on cloud 9. But I don't know until Dennis actually texts me, and he's like, buddy, that's the deer. Like, that's my target deer. And you had a dinner that night, and Dennis is gone. And he's like, I'm coming back. And I'm like, you're going to drive like an hour and a half, 2 hours back here? And he's like, buddy, I'm already on my way. Like,
well, I'd been hunting nonstop for weeks.
Yeah.
Everett and I took my wife for lunch, and we're sitting at lunch, and my phone bings, and you send me a photo of the deer.
Yeah.
And I literally, it was like, I had no time with my wife, and I look at the waitress and I said, check, please.
Yeah.
So she's like, what's going on? I said, JJ just killed that deer. I'm sorry, but we got to go. So
hilarious.
I paid the bill, dropped her off at home, and Ev and I just we peeled and came ripping to you guys as fast as we could.
And we were already on cloud 9, man. Like, Ev shot that nice deer, and I was like, if we don't even see another deer, what a hunt this is. Like, that's the biggest deer at that point that I had ever seen in my life, was the one he had got. And then we bring this thing back, and I gotta talk about that, because Dennis pulls in. I've never seen a guy like Dennis won the Super Bowl that day. He's like, woo, he's yelling and hugging me.
Man.
And like, I think you actually lift me up by my waist at one point. Like, and I was like, yeah, it's a big deer. And then it kind of didn't sink in. Like, I'll be honest with you. I thought, yeah, it's a big deer. Like, there's lots of big deer up here. Like, I don't know. And then when Dennis was taking the time to measure it, and then that's when it started to kind of come together. And you're telling me the numbers, and you're saying them out loud, and I'm like, holy cow. And I'm looking over his shoulder. I'm like, that can't be right. Oh, it is right. Like, and it's just, I don't know, one of those things that starts to sink in when you were doing your measurements.
You know what, JJ, as a kind of a big buck chaser, you're always looking for, 170 plus is a giant, right? And when I saw those numbers, I was like, oh my God, I knew it was big, but I didn't, well, once you start adding those inches up, it was, it blew my mind.
Yeah.
What an amazing deer.
Oh, it's just
Yeah.
it's unbelievable. Like, and I can't thank you enough for inviting us up there. And I can't think. And you know something too, like that needs to be said is, and I said it in the brief podcast before, is the friends that you got, and we're gonna go back to that. My buddy flew up to Manitoba with me. He dragged this thing, what probably felt like a mile, and it's like he never complained once. And we got up the next morning. Both of us could barely walk. We were so beat up and banged up. I've never had such a like. If you told me I got bucked off a horse, I think I'd feel better than I did after hauling that thing out. Like, thing weighed a ton, and all the work and all the effort and everything. And you too, like your real friends are the ones that you remember that like the rest of your life. You can never take that away. It's such an experience, like to be part of, and I was just so blessed to be part of everything. I can't thank everybody enough.
Stenner knows. Stenner, I've said it many times. Like we're all about, guys earning stuff, and like you, JJ, you're the same, cut from the same cloth. Like big deer don't come easy, and you guys had to work your butts off to get that out. You made it happen, JJ. You decided to use the bleat call at the right time. You did the right things, and that thing stepped out, and you made it happen, man. So again, congratulations to you.
Absolutely.
You killed a deer of a lifetime on that day, and what a deer it is.
Yeah. That's it's one of those things I can't wait to see it. Like that's the other funny thing. So
how's it been? How's it been,
game,
JJ?
This game is hilarious.
What's life like without your deer?
Oh, it's not busy down here at all. From so never having a privilege to do anything like this before. Obviously this deer everybody knows about. I can't go to the grocery store without people talking to me, or the barber shop, or like the coffee shop. Everywhere I go, hunters like no, and they're like,
well, what do they say to you? What do you mean?
You shot that big deer. Oh my God. Like people I don't even know come up and hug me and shake my hand. And it's like, yeah, it's one of those things. And I'll tell you right now, my wife's been awesome, but she is so sick of hearing about it. people, you can be like proposing to her, and they'd come up and interrupt you and be like, I gotta talk to you about that deer, right?
Good for you, man.
It's been a wild ride. And then I can't thank enough like the Manitoba Big Game Association. They've been awesome. Like I talk to them a lot, and Jerry and those guys out there, like putting it in the magazine and doing that. Like it was pretty cool, like to see that. And they mailed me my own copy and everything in there. And that's like,
so JJ, that
I'm going to
tell our listeners where that deer landed.
So, like the inches wise, you talking?
Yeah, score and where it is in the province, all that stuff.
So right now, it took the provincial champion for Manitoba for the year. So it came in at 175 and 5/8 when you took all the deductions and everything away.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that final score 175 and 5/8. The second place was 170, so it won by a considerable distance.
And that's typical, eh, buddy?
Yeah, typical. Yep. And then all the way down, like from second all the way down along the lines, like you're looking at a very small margin. So to have that big of a gap between first and second just speaks volumes for that deer. You got to give credit to where credit's due, and the animal is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it's so funny when you do this, because you go from this high where you're high-fiving your buddy Dennis, and then they just take the deer and it's gone. And I haven't seen it since. And I get back on the plane with my gun and my luggage, and it's like, okay. So I'm super excited to see it. And Dennis, you sent me some pictures recently. You went up to central Manitoba and visited the taxidermy, and you sent a picture with you holding the rack. And that's where you see like how big this deer really was, right?
Yeah.
So I can't even put it into words like how big it is. But
Yeah, and you're missing it, hey?
no, every day, every day.
Well, and one of the most impressive that deer had a lot of impressive aspects to it, but one of them was how clean it was. There was less than 2 inches of deductions with
Yeah.
that whitetail, and I call it a unicorn. It's very rare to find a perfect 5x5 that perfect. And yeah. Anyway, JJ, yeah, congrats to you, buddy. What?
Yeah, and like Boone and Crockett are involved, and they've been great too. Like you got to
Yeah.
give them credit too. They've been reached out, and I've spoken to them quite a bit. And I think you did too, eh, Dennis?
Not for your deer, for mine,
Okay.
but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, awesome. So what's the plan then? I guess you're waiting on Tommy to see when he can get it done, and
That's it, man. I'm just waiting.
yeah, is what it is.
Yeah.
It'll take what it takes.
But yeah,
Congratulations, JJ.
well, it's a team effort. Like you might have scored the goal, but the team played hockey, right?
Yeah.
Dennis did all the work there. My buddy came with me, and he helped me haul it all out and do all that. Like,
Yeah, but
even Stenner, you even
once-
helped build the cabin. Like, I got to give credit to you. Like,
hey, once in a while, it's nice to be Connor McDavid. You know, you
Well,
guy pulling the trigger.
you could fall down on your skates, but you stand up, and if the puck goes off your leg, it's your goal, right? But no, it's awesome. And you know what too, like the taxidermists and the scorers and stuff, like they don't get credit all the time. Like, so you gotta like give them credit too. Like they're busy, they probably got lives and their own stuff, and like they took the time to score it, and obviously they're gonna do it up for me and whatnot. But you gotta appreciate everybody that supports it, right? And does all that.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, JJ, you killed a booner, legit. And man, that's yeah, what a deer.
Dennis, do you remember what you said to me the night of we were cleaning it and we were all done? And I've been like a huge fan of I always eat the animal that I shoot. I always have. It's like part of me. So we took the back straps out and they were just massive. And I just remember cleaning it and cutting them up that night and cooking it in certain parts. And I remember you looking at me and you said, "This deer is going to change your life." You remember saying that to me?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. And I thought to myself, what the hell is he talking about? And I went to bed that night and I was like, what's he talking about? Like, and the truth is, when you shoot a deer this big, it actually does change your life a little bit. And it's one of those things like, I don't know, if you're contemplating something like this, like don't. You only live once. It's a memory you're going to live with and for the rest of your life. And when I'm old and gray, I'm still going to have goosebumps like I am today when I tell the story of this and have the excitement in my eyes and in my speech. And it'll be the next chapter of your life. And what amazing opportunity. Like, it's just one of those things. You can't make it up. When it happened, it happened. It all lined up. And it is what it is. But
well, and look at what it did. You know, you're walking around Kingsville, Ontario, you know, how many 1,000 kilometers away, pushing 2,000 kilometers away or whatever it is. And from that area, and people down there know about it. It's the whitetail community, right? It's whitetail community. Whitetail deer are the largest sought after, or the most sought after big game animal in North America.
It is. Yep.
People care, and people are crazy about them, and people here. So it's so awesome to see a big deer harvested, and even more awesome to see it appreciated. And that's people wanting to touch base with you is because they appreciate that animal.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But then I come back here and I go to Elgin like 3 weeks later, and a beautiful buck comes out, and I'm like, the first thing I said was, "Sorry, Marcy," as I shot that one too. And I'm like, my wife's gonna kill me with the taxidermy films. So, anyways, it's been a great year. Like, I've been blessed to have I shot a buck the year before, and then obviously this guy out in Manitoba, and then a third. So 3 beautiful bucks in a very short period of time. But this guy is I don't think he'll ever get beat. That's just my opinion. Like, I'll never see a deer that big ever in my life again, let alone get a shot at it.
So you got these other two mounted too?
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Dennis, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
I lost
that
it
is
for-
awesome.
Yeah, we lost you for a minute there.
Yeah, I had to reboot again. It's
I
good.
was talking about how nice I liked your hat and stuff. You'll be able to see it when you watch the podcast.
Perfect.
So for our listeners, with this Manitoba whitetail, the deer population in Manitoba, I would say it's, the area we're hunting is stable. It's decent, fairly decent, and it's the province. You can drive across Manitoba in 5 or 6 hours, but top to bottom, it's quite large. A lot of guys hunt up near they call it the Inner Lake, and there's some excellent outfitters in Manitoba. And I was talking to a guy yesterday who shot 180-inch typical a couple of years ago, I think in 2023. So there are, there's a lot of quality deer in the province. I've got, you there, Jake?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
It keeps
good.
disappearing on us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got another good friend, Daryl Stanley, who's an outfitter. He outfits for Stanley's goose hunts, and that guy is a big buck killer as well. Anyway, I've eaten in his home several times. He's got some beautiful whitetails on the wall. So I'm honored to go to Alberta and hunt with you there, Jake. But definitely, it's almost like Manitoba is a secret province when it comes to big whitetails, because it doesn't seem to get the pressure or the attention that Saskatchewan or Alberta get. Manitoba is a no bait province, no bait, no attractants, which is cool. As is Alberta, right? It forces you to hunt them, old school. If you've got a big deer somewhere, and you're confident in your location where you've located that deer, you've got to wait them out. And whether you get them or not is another thing, but right. And that's how it is in Alberta, eh, Jake?
Yeah. Yeah. I've been lucky to hunt both. And of course, back home, we could hunt with bait. We could hunt over bait. And sometimes
Ontario.
that's a little, yeah, in Ontario. And that's sometimes a little misleading. It's not always that easy.
No.
And when you're, you and I have talked about this many times, people don't realize the effort that you put. You probably put more effort in ahead of time when it comes to baiting than you do in the actual hunting when you're not baiting. Like
sure
baiting it's a massive effort, especially if you're setting up several spots, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've been with you and we've done that, and it's been great and it's fun. And I have to admit, there's a little bit of excitement having that pile of bait there, and your chances of at least seeing deer, it's high. Whereas if you're not using bait, you're on a deer trail. I mean, it's not always, it's never a guarantee, of course.
Yeah.
But it's less of a guarantee when there's no attractant.
If they're on lockdown, you're usually not seeing anything. And there's a lot of long days, but I don't know. We're lucky. We were brought up in kind of grinding it out back in the day, and I don't know. I don't mind sitting all day when I know there's we use the trail cameras, of course, and I don't mind grinding it out and just kind of imagining and waiting.
I've had several times though, like I've been using cameras now for I don't know how many years here. I've way more deer on camera than I've ever seen. Like, in other words, you get a deer on camera and you think, oh, right on, you're gonna go chase that deer. Like or even 5 deer on your camera, and you don't see any of them. You see a spiker or a forkhorn. You don't see those deer. So it's just because you have them on camera, it's nice to know they're in the area. But again,
you're right.
It's never a guarantee.
Wow.
And then down here they go nocturnal, and then that's another frustrating part. You got all this activity on your cameras at night, and then you get nothing during legal. I don't know if you have the same experiences up there, but that's frustrating as hell too, because and then the thing is, I'm talking to you, you're talking to him, and all of us are having the same problem. So then, they've gone nocturnal because it's just frustrating. But what do you do? We keep chasing them, don't we, boys? Like,
Oh yeah,
that's right. One of the things you guys touched on earlier that I always kind of chuckle about is just my own personal observation, and now with hunting videos, and podcasts and the communities, I guess there's more exposure and you can kind of see what other guys are doing as opposed to telling stories. And one of the things that you guys touched on was deer in the middle of the day. And I always laugh at the guys, some guys, and they're really good hunters, but I just laugh how they're just giving up the middle part of the day. And they're not, and they'll just hunt the morning and they'll just hunt the evenings. And perhaps there's areas where that's the best approach. I don't know, but I know we've had lots of luck, where from 10 till 2, lots and lots of luck. I personally, I've killed more deer during that window than any other window.
Yeah, your drop time buck was at what, 1 o'clock, Jake?
I've shot same with Iron Face, 1:30.
Yeah,
1:30. Yeah. The Halloween buck, 1:30.
This guy was 2:30.
Yeah, 2:30 in the afternoon. Yeah. So
they're roaming.
There's one fella that I watched. There's one fella I watched that has his own channel there, and he's really good. He's fun to watch, but he's always talking about how he's going back for a coffee in the middle of the day, or he's going to head into town to grab a bite to eat. And I'm just like, no, don't do that. That's when your best chances. But anyway.
But again, it's like the guys that go to deer camp to just sit there and be around the guys and sleep in and everything, right? Like, at the end of the day, who are we to say if the guys are having a good time going back and having coffee and meeting their buddies for lunch and then getting back into the stand for dark, then
100%.
Yeah, it's
and you watch if you watch Dean Partridge and his whitetail show, he's saying how when he's hunting in his I'm not intimate with his area, but with the farmland where they hunt the evening and the mornings and the evenings, they have much more success. And where he hunts in the northern and the fringe, where I think is more similar to what you and I hunt, they'll shoot deer all day long. So
yeah, exactly. It's if you can deal with it, stay all day long. You got the gear, and like I mentioned on JJ's video there, like, you gotta try to kind of pack a bit of a lunch to mentally get you through the day with your granola bar at 9:30, your sandwich at noon, and your chocolate bar at 2 or whatever. Like, just try to survive the day. It's like a bit of a marathon, right?
Yeah.
That's,
your little bumps in the road, Chevy? Like your little bumps. Like if I can make it till 10 o'clock, I'm going to have that apple. And then if I make it till noon, I'm going to have my sandwich. If I can make it till 2, I'm going to have my granola bar. And then by then it's dark and I'm coming out. And I'll be honest too, I forgot to tell you, the first thing I did after I shot that deer and I knew it was down, I downed my water because I was like, oh my God, I'm dying. And I'm like, I downed my water. I got to the car and I had 2 bottles of water in there and I drank both of those too because I knew we're going to have to go through a bunch of work. I forgot to mention that, but it's one of those things, right? Like, I don't want to drink all that water when I'm in the stand. But yeah, it is what it is. It's all those little things, man. Like those little things. You said one the other day, Chevy, about your kit, knowing your kit on that video.
Oh yeah.
How it was rubbing your pack. And it's like those little things, those little noises.
Oh man.
You gotta mask everything you can.
They are, these deer, I mean, I don't know if the deer, JJ, in your zone where they're used to lawnmowers and cars and farm tractors and stuff, if they're any different or not. They probably, are and they aren't. But these up here where they're not used to humans at all. You try to shoulder your gun and your sling rubs on your pack. The day Everett killed his, he just made the slightest noise on the railing with trying to reposition himself, and that buck locked right onto him. And it was only because that doe hadn't heard him and continued on feeding that I whispered to him, just don't frickin' move. And when that doe continues moving, as long as you don't do anything different here, he's going to continue chasing her, and which he
Staying
did.
with her, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but it's a fun game. It's a grind, though. We all know it. We've all hey Stenner, we've ridden the grind many times.
Mind games.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny? You go from like the most uncomfortable, you're cold, you're hungry, you're tired, and then you shoot something and you're like completely on cloud nine, what adrenaline does. Yeah. You're oh my God, that just happened. You're bear hugging your buddy or whatever.
Yeah, you turn back into a kid again.
And then you're like, I want to do this all over again. And I'm like, it was so goddamn uncomfortable for so many days.
Yeah, I've had many times where I'd be in a stand, many times, and I'm standing there, and like you just said, shivering cold and snap.
Oh yeah.
And it just instantly, like, gloves are off. You just feel the blood pumping, and it's a 30 above day at that point, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Just the way your body reacts to it.
Well, JJ, we appreciate you coming out and chatting with us tonight. And moving forward here, our podcast is, we're going to be targeting all the provinces. We want to talk to some of these heavyweights in the provinces. We're going to go after these guys because we have the same passion, and we're hoping they'll talk to us just to bring awareness to what's happening in their provinces, to see if maybe we can make things better. And find out, get a read on what's happening with the whitetail herd, and along the way, here's some good stories from some some like-minded guys who are out there for the right reasons. So yeah,
keep the hunting game alive.
Yeah, keep the hunting game alive.
I agree with that. That's a big statement. I love it.
Yeah,
deer hunting is our heritage, our privilege, and our passion.
Yeah,
and it's what we live for.
100%.
So, anything else, boys?
Till the next one.
Just thanks, boys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
appreciate you coming on. Hopefully, hopefully I get to meet you in person sometimes, AJ.
Stenner, I'm gonna give you a big hug when I meet you.
Yeah,
can't wait.
around the waist.
You look more sober now than you did in the other video, though. When you're sitting in the cabin.
I don't know if that was me being loaded, or it was just I was so exhausted from how hard he worked me.
I worked him hard, JJ.
Well, it was all over your face. I'm like, he's smashed, but the problem is he's exhausted too. And you just you can see it, and the wood stove's burning, and just puts you to sleep, eh?
It's funny when my dad watched that video, and that's the first thing he commented on, eh? He says, I could tell you were pretty done there.
Oh yeah.
In that video.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah, Jake knows how relentless I am when there's work to do, and I didn't take my foot off his throat that whole day there. I just held him down and made him work.
Well, what we didn't talk about this episode was we get back, we're putting ladders in, we put the counter in the kitchen. Like, we were doing the work around the camp just like you were.
Oh, yeah.
We got 2 hours. Like, what are we gonna do? Sit around and tell stories? Like, there's work to do. I'm like, you got the tools here. Let's go. Like, you got handy guys. Like, so we did the same thing. Like, work.
Oof.
Putting that tin up on the roof, like from the inside.
Oh, did you do that?
JJ didn't do any of that.
I was shaking.
Hey, listen, you missed a spot. There was one spot not covered.
My hands were shaking. I was holding it with my nose and my head, and I'm like shaking to death. And I didn't want to get in trouble, so I'm like, oh my God,
the spot.
Get the screw in.
Too funny.
It was good. Good
awesome,
times.
boys.
And then we get the ladders all together and realize the 2x4s were this way instead of this way, trying to get up on the ladder. I'm like, who built these? It's like, I didn't build those, so it wasn't me. It had to be Chevy the carpenter.
Rough it in.
Fun times. Okay, man.
Yeah. Right on, boys.
Okay. Good talking to you
podcast
guys.
number 1
in Edmonton.
In the books. Yeah, you bet, man.
Okay,
thanks,
brother.
boys.
Thanks.
Okay.
See you, Chevy.
Take it easy.
Talk to you.
Tell me this isn't extreme.
Thanks for sticking with us and listening to our first podcast. Moving forward, we will do our best to drop the next podcast every 2 to 3 weeks. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. We want to hear what you think, and let's talk about whitetails. We'll see you on the next one.